Welcome to the part 3 of the SSL TLS lecture series. Today we will quickly go through some of the basic concepts in cryptography. Cryptography can basically divide it into two parts. One is called private or secret key cryptography. So when we say private or secret key cryptography, it has another name called symmetric key cryptography, meaning both for encryption as well as for decryption, you will use the same key K. So that's what we mean by symmetric key cryptography. But if you are a mathematician, right, you might want a more precise definition. So in mathematics, they will usually say, let's say K is the encryption key and KD is the decryption key. There should be a way to derive your decryption key from the encryption key. Similarly, there should be a way to derive your encryption key from the decryption key. So I don't want to confuse you. In practice, most of the time we will use the same key on both the encryption and decryption side. So don't worry about the mathematics, okay? We will follow a very simple definition. As per the simple definition, both the encryption and decryption should use the same key K. Okay. In asymmetric key cryptography, for encryption, you will use a different key K1. For decryption, you will use another key K2. I still remember when I very first time when I read about public key cryptography, I don't know how many years back, I'm extremely surprising. It's like you are going out to the office, you are locking the door, you take the key, after locking the door, you take the key. After you come back from the office, you use a totally different key to open the door. I could not believe this. How that is possible, right? So that was several years ago when I first time heard the public key cryptography. Okay. So the idea in public key cryptography is for encryption you use one key, for decryption you will use totally different key, and hence it is called asymmetric key cryptography. Okay. Next we will talk about ciphers. A cipher in the olden days it was called code. So code and ciphers are both are same. For example, during the World War time, right, most of the time you will hear the word called code. So code is nothing but cipher. A cipher is basically an encryption scheme. So it comes with the encryption function as well as the decryption function, all the necessary things. So it's a encryption scheme. Okay. The cipher itself is divided into two categories called symmetric cipher and asymmetric cipher. Symmetric cipher means both for encryption and decryption you will use the same key K. Whereas for the asymmetric cipher, as I told previously, you will use a different key for encryption and decryption. So we will come back to asymmetric cipher a bit later, not in today's episode. We will see that in the next episode. So today we will quickly go through about symmetric cipher. Symmetric cipher itself can be divided into two types called stream cipher and block cipher. So what is a stream cipher? Stream cipher means take one bit at a time and then do the encryption. So you will take one bit of plain text, this is your plain text, this is your key. Take one bit of plain text, take one bit of key and then produce one bit of cipher text. But when stream cipher was introduced, for example, during the World War time or even during the Julius Caesar time, right, there was no concept of bit. So instead they always take a letter, right? So they take one letter, one alphabet at a time and then they do the encryption. Later when the computer came, they started taking one bit or for convenience they can take one byte. In fact, in some schemes they even take a word at a time. So for simplicity, let us assume that whenever you deal with stream cipher, you will take one byte at a time. Take one byte of plain text, one byte of key, and you will produce one byte of cipher text. Okay, just for simplicity, we will assume this. Okay. Now, the important thing in stream cipher is you will provide a key K, but you will not use the key directly. Instead, you will pass this key to what is called a key stream generator. So there is something called key stream generator. The purpose of the key stream generator is if you input a key, it will provide unlimited number of key stream. It is called key stream. Okay. Because in a stream cipher, to encrypt every byte, you need one byte of key material, right? So let's say your input file is 1 megabyte. This is your input file. You need 1 megabyte of key, but we cannot provide such a big key, right? We can provide say 128 bit key or 256 bit key. We cannot provide 1 MB. Let's say if you want to encrypt 1 gigabyte of data, that means I have to provide 1 gigabyte of key, which is not possible, right? So what people normally do is, they whatever key you are using, let's say you are using a 128 bit key, they take this as a seed value and pass it as an input to key stream generator. This fellow has a key generation algorithm, and produce what is called a key stream. So your input is going to be fixed. So this thing is going to be fixed, whereas this fellow can produce unlimited number of random key stream. So this is what you are finally using to make the encryption. So a stream encryption is very simple. You take a plain text, you take your key stream, you do a XOR of both your plain text and key stream. You will get your ciphertext. So your ciphertext is nothing but take the plain text, perform a XOR operation with the key stream. That's all. This is what we called as stream cipher. It's very simple. In the last episode we saw, right, how you can use the XOR as an encryption function. So stream cipher is using XOR as encryption function. Okay, stream cipher itself has two categories called synchronous stream cipher and asynchronous stream cipher. So what is a synchronous stream cipher? A synchronous stream cipher is nothing but you pass your key. This is my key K. This is my key stream generator. Okay, key stream generator. Then the key stream generator will produce what is called a key stream. So you pass your plain text here, you take these two, you perform a XOR operation, you will get back your ciphertext. That means your so-called key stream is only depending on K. There is no other input, right? Key stream is directly depending on the key. There is no other parameter for it. So such a cipher is called synchronous stream cipher. Okay. The second category is called asynchronous stream cipher. So how does it work? This is very similar to the previous scheme. As usual, you will take a key K, you have your key stream generator. That fellow will produce unlimited amount of key stream, whereas your K is always fixed, right? K is fixed, so I will use K as a seed value. The key stream is unlimited. How long based on the length of your input, it can generate as many bytes as you want. So as usual, you pass your plain text. I will perform a XOR. I will get a ciphertext, right? But what I will do is, I will take a copy of the ciphertext and provide it as a feedback to keystream generator. So now your keystream now your keystream is a function of both your key as well as your ciphertext, right? It doesn't depend on key alone. Now it depends on two guys. It depends on the key as well as it depends on the previous output ciphertext. So this kind of stream ciphers are called asynchronous stream cipher. Okay. So we will not go into how to build a stream cipher or the internal operation of stream cipher. Otherwise, it will become a cryptography class. So we are going to see SSL TLS, not cryptography. So I will only give you a brief overview of various things. Okay. So let's see an example of a stream cipher. The most popular example is called RC4. RC4 is a short name for reverse cipher. Reverse cipher. Reverse is the guy who invented. He is a very famous cryptographer. His full name is called Ron Rivest. In fact, when you use the RSA protocol, RSA public key cryptography, right, the first R is actually his name, Ron Rivest. Okay. So reverse cipher, he has designed so many different ciphers. Out of this is very popular. RC4 is the example of a stream cipher. It is very fast both in hardware as well as in software, and hence for a very long time people were using RC4. In fact, even in Windows operating system, so many places it uses RC4 even today. Okay. But recently the mathematicians found out that it's no longer secure, and hence if you are in future going forward, you should not use RC4. It's no longer safe. You should not use RC4, but it's a very good stream cipher. Okay. So what are the other stream ciphers are there? If you look at the mobile communication, right, GSM mobile communication, in GSM mobile communication, when they created a European standard, I think it's way back in 1987 when they created the standard, just before the GSM was created, they first decided to use a encryption algorithm for voice traffic between cell phone and base station. So they designed a encryption algorithm called A5 bar 1. This is a stream cipher, example of a stream cipher. But this standard was used, this A5 bar 1 was initially used both in Europe as well as in USA. But within 2 years, what they did was they took this algorithm, they purposely weakened this algorithm. They created a weaker algorithm called A5 bar 2 for export quality. So, if anything out of the Europe or USA, for other countries, they will provide a weaker algorithm so that they can, if they need, they can break the algorithm. Unfortunately, nowadays both are weak, so both are no longer secure. For example, there is always a saying that NSA can decrypt this A5 bar 1 for of voice traffic. NSA is the National Security Agency in America. Okay. The next example of a stream cipher is the recent one. So in the recent last few years, there is a new algorithm called Salsa 20. This Salsa 20 and there is one more variation of it called Cha-Cha 20. Both are designed by a famous cryptographer called Daniel J. Bernstein. I don't know how to pronounce Bernstein. So he has a nickname DJB. So he has designed so many ciphers. These are the two popular. Later we will learn that in TLS 1.3, Cha-Cha 20 Poly 1305 is one of the cipher speed that we will use in TLS 1.3. All these things we will see later. So right now, as an example of stream cipher, we saw a few RC4, A5 bar 1, A5 bar 2, Salsa 20, Cha-Cha 20, etc. Okay. Some of the stream cipher they have purposely designed for hardware. If you use in hardware, it's going to be extremely fast. So one of the famous hardware-based stream cipher is Grain 128A. So this Grain 128A is a hardware-based stream cipher and it's very fast. Okay. Okay. Now it's a demo time. So because if I keep on telling you the theory, you will get bored, right? So every now and then let's see a small demo. For demo, most likely I will use open source tool. Let's start with a very simple demo. We saw RC4 is a stream cipher, right? RC4, the key size starts from 40 bits all the way to a long number. So the most common key size people use is 128 bit key. So we will use a 128 bit key as an example for encryption and decryption. For this, I am going to use the openssl tool. Openssl is a free open source tool. It is available for all the platform. Windows. If you want in Windows, you can download the Cygwin. Cygwin is a Unix emulator. I think all of you know, right? Cygwin. If you don't know, you better download the Cygwin. Go to cygwin.com and download on your Windows. It's a Unix emulator. It comes with lot of utilities which is available on Linux, right? It has the equivalent utilities on Cygwin. If you have Linux or Unix, it automatically comes with openssl. Even if it is not that, you can always install. Mac operating system also come with openssl, but the one come inbuilt is a very older version. So I suggest you use the brew in your Mac OS to install the latest version of openssl. Okay, so I'm going to show you a simple demo. For this, I will use a I'm going to use the echo command. In Unix and Linux you have the echo command, right? So echo, what it does is just type, give you a word, it will simply echo. But if you count the number of character I gave, I only gave two character, right? H and I, that is two character. But let's see whether it is really two character or not. So for that, I am going to use yet another Unix command called word count. Word count minus C means count the number of characters. Interesting. The count WC is providing 3, right? That means the echo fellow is automatically adding a end of line character. So on Unix and Linux, line ending is denoted by this end of line /n, right? So /n is nothing but hexadecimal 0a. If you are using Windows, usually Windows will return carriage return followed by the new line character, right? We will usually call it carriage return line feed, CRLF. So if you forget, just type the ASCII command. ASCII command will show the ASCII table. Look at the ASCII value 10. 10 is line feed, it's a new line character. 0D is a carriage return, right? So if you are using Windows, your line ending is nothing but carriage return and line speed, which is equivalent to hexadecimal 0D 0A. Sorry, 0D 0A. Whereas on Unix or Linux is going to be 0A. When you work with the cryptography and SSL, every small detail does matter. Okay, you should give extreme attention to fine details. It's very important. So let me again print high. Now I want to see the output as a hexadecimal. For this you can use the Unix octal dump command. There is a command called octal dump in Unix. If you don't know, you can just do a man od. It will allow you to display a number in octal, decimal, hexadecimal, etc. So what I will do is I'm going to print this first as a hexadecimal value, octal dump. By default, whatever it prints I don't like, so I'm going to specify the type as minus t means type. Output, show the output in hexadecimal, but don't show as a long number, just show one number. Each byte show it separately. I want to see each byte separately as a hexadecimal number. So that you can achieve using minus t, x and 1. So let's see. So look at this. H is hexadecimal 68, I is hexadecimal 69, and end of line, new line character is 0A, right? So this thing you don't worry, this number represents the memory location. So the reference number at location 0A68 is stored, at location 169 is stored, at location 2 0A is stored. So that's the meaning. Okay, so we saw 3 bytes in hexadecimal. Okay, so I don't want this new line character. This fellow will unnecessarily create trouble. So you can use the echo minus n command to remove this new line character. So no more new line, right? Now I can use this as an input for encrypting. So I'm going to use the word called secret, which I want to encrypt. Then I will use the openssl command. Whenever you use openssl command, the first thing you should do is check what version of openssl you are using. You can use the version command for that because different version has different features. So you first check the version. Okay. Unfortunately, openssl doesn't have the help command. So if you want to see the help, you can type any junk as a character. It will automatically print the help. I don't know why they don't want to include a help command. So you always type any junk, it automatically will say it's an illegal character and it will provide a proper help. Look at this, it's an invalid command, right? Now if you look at the help command, there are a lot of cipher command it is supporting. We don't want all these things. We only want the RC4 algorithm, okay? There is a 40-bit version of RC4 algorithm which we don't want. We want to make use of 128-bit RC4, okay? Okay. Now let's come back to our echo secret, right? So echo minus n, I don't want new line. This is the one I want to encrypt. So this is my plain text. I will use a pipe symbol so that I can pass my output to openssl command. OpenSSL algorithm you want to use RC4. You want to perform an encryption operation. So I use minus E. The key can be provided using the uppercase K. Since the key is 128 bit long, 128 divided by 8 is nothing but 16, right? 16 bytes is equivalent to, if you convert in hexadecimal, each byte will occupy 2 hexadecimal digit, right? So 16 times 2, 32 character I have to pass. For simplicity, I will just use 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. 30 characters, 31, 32. So I gave a 128 bit key. Now I will see how it is encrypting. Okay, I will just type enter. So the output is a binary number. The output is a binary output. So I cannot read this, right? So I don't want this to happen. Again, I will use my octal dump. I will say show the output in hexadecimal 1 byte at a time. Okay. So now I can see secret is 6 letter, right? So I got 6 byte as output. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is my encrypted output. Okay. Now I will use the again openssl decrypt command, openssl rc4. Instead of encrypt, I am going to decrypt this now to check whether I am getting back my secret or not. Because I am using the symmetric key cipher, I will use the same key. So I will just copy this key and then I will paste it here. Okay. Now let me see I get the secret or not. Yes, I got the secret, right? Don't worry about the percentage symbol. It is printed by my cell. I am using a jet cell. Jet cell by default, if there is no line ending, it will automatically add a percentage followed by enter. Okay. If you are a root user, it will add a hash symbol. For a root user, it will add a hash symbol followed by enter. Whereas if you use a bash shell, in bash shell, it won't do all such things. So for example, let me show the same thing using a bash shell. Okay. The same thing I will use using the bash shell. Or I will just use, okay, let me just copy this up to here, right? I will just cut and paste. Look at this. In bash shell, there is a secret. Immediately the shell prompt is following, right? Whereas in jet shell, it will always insert this symbol and bring it to the next line. So this is not part of the output. So only the secret is output. Okay. Okay, that's all our demo for this. So what we learned today? What we learned today is we started with the basics of cryptography. I told cryptography contains two parts called private or secret key cryptography, which is also called as symmetric key cryptography, or public key cryptography. Oh, sorry, not R. The second part is called public key cryptography or asymmetric key cryptography. For symmetric key cryptography, we found that there are two categories called stream cipher and block cipher. We will deal with block cipher a bit later in future episode. Today we saw about stream cipher. Stream cipher means take one bit or byte or word at a time and correspondingly take one bit or byte or word up from the key and then you create the cipher. Okay. That means if you have 1 megabyte of input, you need 1 megabyte of key, right? So in real life, you cannot generate that much amount of key. So you always need what is called a key stream generator. You provide your key as a fixed key is a fixed value. You provide it as a seed value for the key stream generator. That fellow will produce unlimited number of random key stream. So the actual data you are using to encrypt is the key stream, not the original key that you supplied. The key stream bit or byte you take, you do a XOR operation with the plain text and you are producing the ciphertext that we learned. Then we also saw there are two kinds of stream cipher called synchronous stream cipher, where the key stream depends only on the key, whereas in asynchronous stream cipher, the key stream depends both on the key as well as the ciphertext. Okay, so all these things we already saw, right? So then what we saw? We try an example of stream cipher that we have RC4, A5 bar 1, A5 bar 2, Salsa 20 and Chacha 20. For hardware base, we learned about Grain 128A, right? Then we saw a simple demo using the openssl utility. Okay. So in the next episode, we will go through block cipher. Thanks for joining and watching today's session. Thank you.